walks down the street, he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a shot of redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard. Bone digger, dogs in the moonlight. Far away, my well-lit door. Mr. Beer Melly, get these mutts away from me, you know. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you.
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. This song is so happy.
Erin's flirting with me.
I am?
Yeah, you know I love this song.
That's true.
I'm a
To
big
be
fan.
a songwriter like Paul Simon, oh my gosh, what a gift. What a gift. You know, I actually was really surprised to learn that he was married to Carrie Fisher. I didn't realize that until I watched the one of her biopics, they were married.
Some guys like the crazy.
Yeah, but fun.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Crazy but fun.
Crazy but genius.
Right. So I've got to talk about Venezuela a little bit. It's making our news, but it's really not. You know, people are so. You know, all we can do is talk about Trump.
Yeah.
Venezuela has had this issue. Nicolas Maduro took the. He's essentially a dictator, right?
Yes, he is.
And by Venezuelan law, his opponent should be president right now. This guy from Congress should be president right now, but Maduro is pushing back. So Juan Guaido,
Yes.
Guaido, I probably pronounced that wrong. He's the opposition leader, and Stanford University actually went through and made the legal case, and I posted this on social media earlier this week, made the legal case that he is the rightful president, but Maduro won't step down.
Yeah.
And not only will he not step down, he is just going after the opposition hook and tongue, as dictators do.
Yep.
But he's also starving out his people. And the article that I want to talk about, or the issue that I want to talk about, is that the Venezuelan military has barricaded a bridge at a key border with Colombia, issuing a challenge Wednesday to a U.S.-backed effort by the opposition to bring humanitarian aid into a nation plagued by shortages of food and medicine. Now, what's happening in Venezuela is that when food comes in, the police take it and then they jack up the price to sell it to the people who are starving.
Yeah.
So other countries and individuals, NGOs, et cetera, are donating food, and it's not getting to where it needs to get to.
Yeah.
Because the Maduro government,
Well, the corruption is rampant because that's how you're surviving, right?
Well, exactly.
You can't survive if you're not figuring out some way to advance yourself and skim off what you can get.
And their money is worthless.
Yeah.
Their money it's like Zimbabwe money. It's worthless. So this aid squabble is the latest front between Guaido and President Nicolas Maduro, who vowed not to let the supplies enter the country. Maduro, that sounds so gringo. Maduro argues that Venezuela isn't the nation of beggars and has long rejected receiving humanitarian assistance. It's not. You have your people, an highly educated, highly modern population going through dumpsters looking for food.
Yeah.
Not a nation of beggars. Oh, my goodness. No, you made them that, sir. They have to be, he says, he's tired of seeing Venezuelans suffer from food and medical shortages. Hang on, let me back up. Venezuelan Jose Mendoza stood at the entrance to the Colombian side of the bridge holding a sign that said, "Humanitarian aid now." Mendoza, who is 22, said he's tired of seeing Venezuelans suffer from food and medical shortages, that the military should stand on the side of suffering Venezuelans. They have to be on the side of the people and support us, he said. They have family members who are dying of hunger. The call is for them too. And so the average Venezuelan, through the last year of this malaise, the weight of the average Venezuelan has gone down, like, I think 20, 25 pounds.
I don't know if you've seen the infographics that have compared what's going on with Venezuela with other major economic collapses around the globe, but it's like double the impact of what the U.S. Great Depression was back in the 1930s. Right? And so if you think about the stories we've heard growing up about what the Great Depression was like here in the United States, it's double in terms of the amount of loss that they've had of their economic growth and abilities. The amount of people that are out of work, the lack of supplies. I mean, it is literally devolved into like the Lord of the Flies, right? Every man for himself. And I really think that once Guaido takes over, that they're going to have to implement some sort of martial law for a period of time while they are able to reintegrate the basics of the society, right? And so it's going to be rough for a bit while they are reestablishing supermarkets with stores and stuff and getting prices back to a reasonable level. Probably a new monetary system, a new dollar based on something, and it's going to take a while. And in that chaos, you're going to need a lot of people to be on board and supporting this. Now, thankfully, the international community has pretty unanimously come out in favor of this new leader. I think Russia is about the only one that's still sort of backing
and
Maduro.
Mexico.
And Mexico.
And Cuba.
And Cuba.
Well, because Mexico has a leftist president now.
Yeah.
And Cuba, of course, is Cuba.
Yeah.
So, look at the company you're keeping, Maduro.
Yeah.
You need to go.
Yeah.
Maduro needs to go.
Interesting.
So, yeah, Mexico has a leftist president right now.
Yeah, no, I knew that. I guess I hadn't heard that they were on board supporting Maduro.
They are.
Wow.
They are. And you get the no true Scotsman argument from people who support socialism and say, oh, well, it's never been tried accurately on the globe. No, it's been tried and over and over and over again. And, socialism itself is responsible for over 100 million deaths, 100 million murders. And this is not in times of war per se.
Yeah.
This is, Stalin's purges,
yeah.
And it's Mao doing the same thing, and it's Cuba, and it's North Korea, and it's what the governments are doing to their own people.
Yeah.
That's setting aside war. That's 100 million people just because that's what it takes to implement this kind of system.
I think Venezuela is probably the most stark contrast of failure, though, because they were such a rich and vibrant capitalist economy before, right? I mean, literally the wealthiest country in South America, with one of the highest standards of living and all kinds of wealth and productivity. To watch them over the last 2 decades, implode like this, it has been really sort of disturbing because of the contrast.
So Venezuelans, if you ever met any, they're very proud of being Venezuelans.
Yes, they are.
So I think that if this Maduro goes and you have a free market economy reestablished, I think that Venezuelans will flock home, start businesses, invest, and I think they can pick themselves up. Will it take some time? Yes. But these are people who already know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're not educated. It's not like, they don't know how to run a business. They're an educated population. So
the difficult thing is going to be reestablishing the rule of law. And like I said, the initial part of that is literally going to be some sort of martial law to get people to sort of behave the way they're supposed to behave, to weed out the corruption and get some rules and norms put back in place. So,
and then the world will be watching and how they adjudicate how they prosecute some of Maduro's henchmen.
Well, and Maduro, did you hear, and I think one of the banks stopped it from happening, but he was trying to siphon off like a couple $1 billion to some other bank, and they froze it. They said, nope, we're not letting that leave the country.
Yeah, well, and that's essentially what's been happening.
Yeah.
It's a kleptocracy.
Yeah, well, he knows, he can read the writing on the wall, so now he's making his end game, right? Where is he going to land, and how much money is he going to get out with?
Well, people are upset, and the world is watching, but I'm sure that there's a significant part of the population that wants him to leave Venezuela in pieces.
Yeah.
Certain parts of his body separated.
I mean, we've seen this happen before. What was the guy from the Philippines that absconded? Was it Marcos?
Oh yeah.
And he lived on outside the country for a long time with a lot of wealth. It took a long time to
his wife had all those shoes.
Yeah, to prosecute and deal with all that. So this is the model. This guy's looking for someone that will offer him sanctuary where he can go.
Yeah, well, it needs to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
Why are you listening to this radio station? Why? When you can host your own radio show. You're listening and you think you can do better? You have a message or a product you want everyone to know about. Host your own radio show. Team up with the area's best radio professionals and let them make you sound like you should be on NBC. KCAA NBC Radio, that is. KCAA produces more than 50 local programs each week on subjects ranging from business and sports to political talk, vegan diets, or even marijuana-related issues. We don't just broadcast on the radio, we broadcast to the world. Online, on TV, on social media, on Facebook. You'll be all over. Imagine what your friends will say. And KCAA reaches over 5 million people on 3 radio stations. Join the staff on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM. NBC Radio. Jump on the KCAA Express. Call 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065 and get ready to transmit.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-327-1660. That's 800-327-1660. Again, 800-327-1660.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me, cocked your head to the side and said I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me, saying get that together, come back and see me. 3 days since the living room, I realized it's all my fault but couldn't tell you. Yesterday you'd forgiven me, but it'll still be 2 days till I say I'm sorry.
Hold it, now I want to hoodwink. Does it make you stop think? You'll think you're looking at Aquaman. I summon fish to the dish, although I like the chalet Swiss, I like the sushi, cause it's never touch a frying pan. Hot like wasabi when I bust rhymes, speak like Leanne Rhymes, because I'm all about value. Bert Camper's got the mad hits, you try to match wits, you try to hold me but I bust through.
Welcome back, I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And, well, Virginia's in trouble.
Virginia's sinking into the ocean?
No, their government sure seems to be.
Right.
Take it.
The Democrats are imploding in Virginia. We started with the story of the governor and his college yearbook, medical school yearbook, with a picture on his personal page of a guy in blackface and another guy wearing a KKK robe.
Yeah, go ahead.
And he first came out and he apologized and he says, I apologize and all whatever. It was kind of a weak apology. And then the next day he starts backtracking. Well, I don't think that was me in the picture, and just weird stuff. And then we get this rumor that turns into a story that's sort of developing with the lieutenant governor, who was African American, who would have replaced the governor had he stepped down, suggesting that this lieutenant governor had, I guess, raped a woman. I don't know if they've
sexually assaulted is the word that everybody's using, which is kind of vague.
Yeah, a woman at the 2004 Democratic Convention, and now the state's attorney general has got an issue. He has sort of outed himself. He's come forward and said, hey, kind of meekly, I have a blackface incident as well out there. He shares that when he was in college, he was invited to a college party that was around Halloween, and that he went dressed as a rapper, and he put brown makeup on and a wig, and he said he was 19 years old, and which rapper did he say he was trying to be?
Yeah, that I don't remember.
Yeah, but again, so you've got the three top Democrats in the state of Virginia that are in a real mess. And of course, based on how Democrats have reacted in the past to these kinds of issues, all three of these guys should immediately resign and be gone. But that would leave the Republican Speaker of the House as the governor.
Tim Scott.
And, no, Tim Scott is a senator.
Oh, he is a senator.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But no, this would leave the Republican Speaker in the House there as the new governor. And what's the irony is the only reason he's the Speaker of the House is because one of the House races earlier that year ended in a tie, and they literally flipped a coin to decide it, and the Republican won that coin flip, and so that's how come the Republicans have the majority, and this guy's the Speaker. And so it's just a real mess. And Democrats had been sort of ascendant in Virginia. And now people are looking at the state party and asking, well, what's going on with these guys? Are they all a bunch of closet racists that we just didn't know? That they've been essentially lying or faking us out with this, these liberal attitudes and platitudes and whatnot. And it turns out that really behind the scenes, they're just a bunch of good old white boys that have doing all this stuff. And I say good old white boys. The lieutenant governor is actually African American. But his thing is he's actually saying that the governor is the one who's pushing the story about him assaulting this woman.
You can't make this up.
You
can't make this up.
No, and they're all at each other's throats. And none of them are willing to sort of step down and do the honorable thing. And I worry now that because there's so much scandal that they're all just going to use that old trope, well, everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
And I apologize and I'm just going to move on and keep doing my job. And that the Democrats will essentially give themselves a pass on this one.
The problem is that they have been so puritanical about everything. I mean, really, truly robbing the joy out of everything, where literally everything can be taken as racism. And so then when it's standing in front of them, but it's their guy and they like him, now what are they going to do?
Well,
and when I say that blackface and the hood and robe, oh yeah, there's no way that you can wiggle out of that and say it's not racist.
So privately yesterday, you and I were talking about this, and it reminded me so much of the Clinton scandal when he was caught with Monica Lewinsky and lied about all this stuff, right? And the Democrats essentially made the issue, well, it was private and it's sex and everybody does it, and then they went looking to find Republicans that had had sex scandals, and literally the guy from Hustler. Larry Flint offered to pay like $1 million to anyone who could get dirt on Republicans. And lo and behold, the dirt started to come out, right? And we got a variety of different people that were taken down by this. Newt Gingrich was taken down. The guy who immediately replaced him, Livingston, was taken down. A couple other Republicans, were outed as having affairs and so forth. And I suspect we're going to see something similar now. I think that you watch every one of those Republicans in Virginia right now. They've got people going back to their high schools, going through their yearbooks, digging and trying to find anybody who will say anything that somehow can associate them with either a sex scandal or a race scandal, so that they can then say, well, everybody does it.
So either the behavior's bad or it's not. So I posted on the Inland Empire Teachers page a funny meme, a funny story of making fun of the Common Core math. Yeah. And it showed a teacher doing a Common Core math problem next to somebody doing an old style math problem. And while the Common Core math problem was out, they'd long finished the old style math. She made a cup of coffee. She was out in her yard. It's like all of this. And I thought it was hilarious. Well, a couple of math teachers, one of whom works with you, oh, you can't do that. That's so offensive and blah, 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 critical thinking. And I'm like, oh, my God. Would you stop? It's just a joke.
It's humor.
It's humor. If you didn't like it, okay, fine. It fell flat. No big deal.
Yeah.
But you can't do, I can. And it's not, did I call anybody stupid? No. Common Core math, it's kind of clunky. I understand there's a process. And I'm not apologizing.
Yeah.
I'm just not, because I'm just not.
Here's what happens too, like when you do something new like that, right? Then the people who are coming up, that's the way they've learned it. That's what they know. So for them, that seems like the right way to do it.
Right.
Right. And the people who've been around for a while who have something to compare to, you know, they're able to look at the two things and say, well, I like something about this, or I like something about that. And they can be a little more realistic. But you find that people become zealots to the stuff that they know, that this is what I learned, this is what I was told was the right way.
I have to say, when you know, generations down the road, when we're looking back on the millennial generation specifically, but definitely the baby boomers, these two are like the zealot Puritan generations.
Yeah.
Everything it's got to be the way that they want it. No, actually it doesn't. You do you, I'll do me, we'll get along just fine.
Yeah. Chill out, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
Golly. Moses.
Okay.
So you pick the next one.
So Liam Neeson, since we're on the rage parade, right? Liam Neeson is got a new movie coming out, and apparently when he was on the red carpet, he sort of decided to share a story from his own life to explain how he was able to relate to the character that he plays in this movie. And so he shared this sort of disturbing story from his younger days, and now he's having to defend himself and say that he's not a racist. And the story from his early days was that a woman friend of his was raped, and when he learned about it, he became enraged.
Right, raped by a black man.
Hold on.
Okay.
Just raped. Okay, but we'll get to the race part in a second.
Okay.
So he becomes enraged, and then as he learns the details of the rape and who raped her, right? That it was an African American person. He directed that initial rage at African Americans, and he literally went out into a black part of town looking for a fight. Like he was going to fight a black person because he was angry because that she had been raped by a black person. Now he later goes on to explain that had she been raped by a Scotsman or somebody else, he would have gone to that area of town and looked for a fight with somebody there. That his rage was directed not at that group particularly, but just because of the rape that had occurred. Now, it falls flat, right? It falls flat, and it's completely tone deaf, and so now they've taken him off the red carpet circuit. I guess he's no longer out there shilling for his movie. But a lot of folks are basically saying, hey, you know, that attitude that I'm going to just go get a black person because she was raped by a black person is really sort of the nuts and bolts of racism.
Okay, but this was something that happened in the past, and it was a mea culpa, and he didn't actually find anyone, if I remember correctly.
No, he didn't.
So he thought about doing something and didn't do it, and then had a mea culpa about it years later.
Yes.
And we're going to crucify him?
Yeah, I know, right? It's a little silly.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
the man was angry.
If he had a history of going out and beating up people.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah. He doesn't. Yeah, it's a bit
Again,
of
this puritanical crap.
Yeah.
You know, if he had done it, it'd be a different story. But he was, you know, he's like, well, this was the rage. And he's not,
Yeah.
I saw the interview, and he wasn't, I mean, he was apologetic about it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's going to, he's not as, Brits are not as effusive as Americans.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't, for some, feel as contrite as he should have been. But for somebody from the UK, he was downright contrite about it.
The character he plays in the movie is a character that is raging, right? And so I think he was trying to let people understand that how does an actor get to that point?
Yes.
And he was essentially saying that he drew upon this moment, this thing that happened in his life where he had that kind of rage, and it was rage based on this idea of honor, right? It was rage for somebody else, you know, not something that happened to him, but something that happened to somebody that he cared about.
So I think we need to take a chill pill, because it creates deaf ears when we don't. So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
California headline news. Cleanup underway in the Richmond district of San Francisco after a huge gas line explosion and 3-alarm fire Wednesday afternoon. Fire crews checking the integrity of the surrounding buildings. Fire Chief Joanne Hayes-White.
Our understanding is that there was a gas line breached by workers, construction workers, working on fiber optics underneath the asphalt.
Backhoe apparently rupturing the gas line in a construction zone. Flames exploding from the line and spreading to 5 nearby structures. The fire raging for over 2 hours. More information is being learned about the pilot of the plane that crashed in Yorba Linda Sunday, killing 4 people on the ground.
Found in that plane's wreckage, pilot Tony Pastini's ID. The Orange County Sheriff's Office and Chicago police say the badge he had on him and the laminated retirement card inside were forged. The Pentagon also says that Pastini, who had legally changed his name from Jordan Isaacson, had lied about being a Marine.
Correspondent Matt Gutman. Mostly dry today, another storm tomorrow. Jeff Scott, California News.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings incredible opportunities. Explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If you are a California resident and a member of your household participates in SNAP or receives SSI benefits, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SSI refers to the Federal Supplemental Security Income Program. Pricing excludes taxes and fees. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
California headline news. A new survey finds that 43% of Californians believe they can't afford to live in the state. According to Quinnipiac University, for people between the ages of 18 and 34, that number soars to 61%. Meanwhile, the state's required fees can add up to $60,000 to the price of a home. Governor Gavin Newsom has budgeted close to $2 billion for expanded loans and quicker processing to open up the housing market in the state. California News, I'm Jeff Scott.
It's time to take a look at our roadways. I'm Erin Brinker. In Ontario, on the 15 northbound before the 60, an accident has been cleared. There's slow traffic from Con to Galliano Ranch Road. In Lake Arrowhead, can I get through a report? Lake Arrowhead, there's a chain advisory, as you might imagine, all the way through our mountains. Look up there. There's snow on the mountains. That's on the Highway 173, the 38. This is all the way up in the mountains. In Riverside, there's a chain advisory on the 74. This is the Pines to Palm Scenic Byway, both eastbound and westbound, between the 74, Idlewild National Forest, and May Valley Road. All vehicles must have either four-wheel drive or chains due to snow. There's a wind advisory in Barstow and a work zone in Colton on the 10 eastbound. At Rancho, the on-ramp is closed until the 30th of April. This has been your traffic report. Drive carefully, everyone. I'm Erin Brinker, and this is KCAA.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. Areas of frost this morning, then sunshine, high 57. Clear this evening, low 38. Sunshine warmer Friday, high 60. Slight chance of showers Friday night, low 42. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM, Riverside, 106.5 FM, Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-327-1660. That's 800-327-1660. Again, 800-327-1660.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Looking out a dirty old window, down below the cars in the city go rushing by. I sit here alone and I wonder why. Friday night and everyone's moving. I can feel the heat, but it's soothing heading down.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinkert.
And I'm Tobin Brinkert.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So everybody's talking about Nancy Pelosi and the shade that she threw at the State of the Union with her golf clap, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and her very patronizing little mousy face, that she made towards the president.
You're not a fan of Nancy Pelosi.
No, I just think that's tacky.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. I think it's tacky.
It is a little tacky. Yeah.
So, and now, following President Trump's, this is according to the Daily Wire, following President Trump's emphatic defense of the unborn in the face of such moral evils like a late-term abortion during the State of the Union address on Tuesday night, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the ban on such practice is really quite a sad thing. Now, infanticide is not a sad thing. And if you're doing late-term abortion, that's what you're doing. But, the ban, she says, is the sad thing. While rushing through the halls of Congress, a reporter with the Daily Caller confronted House Speaker to get her thoughts on the president on President Trump's call for a ban on late-term abortions. Her answer was typical Nancy Pelosi. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's really quite a sad thing when you know that we'll be talking about something that applies to health and life, health and the ability to have other children of women, said Pelosi. What? I hope that in his family he never has to face that crisis and apply his attitude towards it. Now, late-term abortion makes no sense. The baby doesn't have to die. Deliver the baby alive, and then give the baby the medical care that it needs so that somebody can adopt the baby. Yeah. Why do you have to kill the baby? Because the baby has to be delivered anyway. And I know I've said this before, but it's in the news. I'm going to say it again. The baby has to be delivered anyway. It doesn't dissolve in the woman's body.
Yeah.
So if you have to deliver it anyway, why does it have to die?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, in order to do a late-term abortion, they have to put the little laminaria into the cervix to open the cervix. That takes 2 days. If it's an emergency, that baby's got to come out now. Again,
C-section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or using Pitocin to move the delivery through.
Yeah.
But yeah, very often it's C-section, emergency C-section.
Yeah.
So why does the baby have to die? That's the answer that nobody can give me.
Yeah.
I'm for women. Well, okay, great. Be for women. That's wonderful. But why does the baby have to die?
Yeah.
There are two people in this scenario.
Yeah. It's wild.
And they say, well, sometimes, the baby, they could, whatever they have is not compatible with life. Okay, then why go through an abortion? The baby will just be stillborn, or, if the baby dies naturally, the baby dies naturally. Why do you have to hasten the death if you're sure that it's coming? I don't understand.
It makes no sense to me either.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
The argument is ridiculous.
And Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in general are very callous about this. They don't even want to have a conversation. They just want to try to paint it as Republicans being anti-women, and that's such a bizarre sort of twist on the story.
The thought that they would try to convince women that the thing that their unique and beautiful bodies were designed to do is a burden or a problem and against them is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're designed to carry babies, folks. Not that we should be Handmaid's Tale, and that's the idea that poor women are going to be like cattle, just delivering babies. Okay, that's never happened in our country. Never. And I can't speak for other countries because I don't know their history. But for this country, no, women have never been, brood mares. They're just not. Now, do they carry babies? Yeah. Are there some difficulties with carrying babies? Yeah, but life is hard for everyone, folks.
Yeah.
I feel like life in the United States now, we're a wealthy, wealthy country. Wealthiest that's ever been in existence in world history. This country has created wealth. And not only created wealth for our citizens, but created wealth for millions and millions and millions of people in many different countries.
Yes.
Now, does that mean that there's not poverty here? No, but even our poor are doing okay.
Yeah.
They're doing okay.
Yeah. What we describe as poor, the standard of living of poor, is nowhere near what it meant to be poor 50 years ago, 100 years ago.
Right. Your dad grew up on a farm with no running water or electricity.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's and he wasn't poor. It was normal for rural Kansas at the time.
Exactly.
And they were doing just fine.
And they didn't have the medical advances and all the kinds of stuff. People got sick and died from stuff that today was like, well, nobody should die from that.
Exactly.
Unless you live in one of those places where nobody's getting their immunizations.
Well, that's a choice. That's a different thing. But everybody had enough to eat. It was the place was I don't want everybody to think that they were like living in a clapboard house. It was nothing like that. It was just the way things were back then in rural Kansas.
Yeah.
And I'm as far as Nancy Pelosi talking about poor women. She's the Speaker of the House, and she has been for a long time.
Yeah.
So if it's so frustrating to me, yes, more women live in poverty, women and children live in poverty than by proportion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to, and I'm not blaming anybody, but let's have some perspective. And if there's a behavior that is making it difficult for you to succeed in life, perhaps we should adjust our thinking about that behavior.
Yeah.
If you get married, if you graduate from high school, get some college, get married, and have a baby in that order, statistically, you are unlikely to live in poverty, especially for any extended period of time in the United States. Now, are people living in any socioeconomic strata, any position, it's pretty fluid in this country.
Yeah.
There are people who have been very wealthy and very poor and somewhere in the middle, and you have good years and bad years.
Yeah.
And someone as old as Nancy Pelosi should have that perspective, right?
Yeah.
But chances are, for the most of your life, you will be middle class or better. Now, if you drop out of school or don't learn a trade, or you have no skills and you have a baby and there's no baby daddy hanging around or baby mama hanging around, whatever, but it's usually baby daddy.
Yeah.
Then you're probably going to have a rough time.
Yeah. Although we had a friend who basically raised his son as a single father.
He did.
We've seen that happen.
Yeah, and then he worked really hard and he went to school and he's doing all right.
Yep.
So my point is not that you've done anything wrong, but let's be honest about let's be honest about life in the United States. They would have you believe that there are people living in such abject, grinding poverty that like rural Mexico with no running water and disease ridden, and their kids don't have enough to eat.
Come
on.
The shocking thing is I think for people is to see so many homeless people that are out there, and I think that twists the idea of poverty. But the reality is that our government and our social service networks, our private providers, have actually provided a ton of resources, and they're struggling to get these people to sort of avail themselves of the resources that are there, right? And this is the thing that people don't talk about as much.
Yep.
That you have all these people that are out there on the streets begging and homeless, but you can't get them into a shelter. You can't get them to clean up their act and get a job and rejoin normal society for a significant proportion of them. And it's because of mental health, it's because of drug addiction, it's because of, and I'll say it, some of them, it's a lifestyle choice. They have just decided, I would prefer to live my life this way. And, what do you say to that? How do you deal with that?
I know that there have been cities, and mostly on the West Coast, where it's temperate, where housing has been offered and it's been rejected.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I want to be outdoors. And some of them, they have PTSD or they have some other mental illness.
Yeah.
And when we open the asylums, and this happened globally, when we opened the asylums, then there was no longer. It was incumbent upon communities to take care of people who had mental health issues.
Yeah.
But the communities don't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
There are nonprofits and there are lots of agencies that step up to do the work, but you can't force a person to take their meds. You can't force a person to report in to make sure that they're safe and they're not doing harm to others. Really to themselves or to others.
Yeah.
People are free. They have the ability to make their own choices. All right. So, part of what we're seeing is the net effect of that. And drug addiction is rampant.
Yes, it is. Oh, that's a big one. I teach in a school that has a lot of kids that are in the foster care system. They live in group homes. And sort of the number one reason that the kids are there is because the parents have some sort of drug addiction. And so they've been removed from the home, while the parents are attempting to get straight. And I watch these kids go through their struggle. And they'll talk about
hard.
And the kids will talk to me. They'll tell me about, oh, my mom's home again. I'm so excited. And then, oh, my mom's, using again and she's gone again. And, and it just breaks your heart as you watch these kids go through these cycles. And they're the real victims. And oftentimes these kids get swept up in the cycle themselves because they're dealing with their own emotional pains that they can't understand and aren't getting proper help with. And so they turn to the drugs. And so it's a cycle that continues. So, back to the original comment, the original story, I think that we, about this late-term abortion, and I think that we approach life in such a careless way, and life, how else do I say this? Every single human being is in and of itself, in and of themselves, innately valuable. Every human being has intrinsic value. There is nothing as pure as an unborn baby. They've not committed any wrong against anyone. They've not, they're completely innocent in every single way. And I don't think we should be killing them. I don't. I think it's morally repugnant. Absolutely morally repugnant. I'm with you.
So with this, we're at we need to take a break. Not quite at the end of our show. We need to take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
The report is sponsored by Indeed. Used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire.
A snowy week makes for a fun time on the slopes. 2 to 3 feet of snow at Mountain High this week. Now that's about 35 trails off of West Resort, and East Resort opens up on Friday, and you can shred the park after dark as they stay open under the lights up until 10. Snow Summit and Bear Mountain both picking up 20 inches of snow. Bear Mountain with a half-pipe competition coming up on the weekend. June Mountain's been digging out thanks to 10 feet of new snow this week in the storms. Bear Valley picked up about 7 to 8 feet of snow, and they've got some live music coming up over the weekend. In Arizona, Sunrise Park checks in with 65 runs at full operation, and at Crested Butte in Colorado, picked up a foot of snow in the last couple of days, and the free concert series kicks off on Saturday. More at snowcountry.com. I'm Jan Elliott on the trifecta of Talk, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Hi, folks. If you're still paying for electricity every month, it means you haven't signed up for the Inland Empire's #1 money savings program offered by Horizon Solar Power. Just call to qualify your home, and Horizon will give you $100 plus pay your electric bill until 2020. It's that simple. Call, qualify, get $100 and no electric bill payments until 2020. So keep your money in your pocket and become energy independent today. Call 844-711-6996. That's 844-711-6996. Or click on one of our Stay Cool ads at kcaaradio.com.
Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you always tired and worn out? Is it affecting your work and personal life? Well, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study of your sleep patterns. With their trained specialists, they will diagnose your sleep habits and will give you a prognosis for getting a great relaxing night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including Fontana, and will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. To find out more, give them a call at 844-SAD-5050. That's 844-SAD-5050. South Pacific Sleep Lab. Start resting easy and sleeping sound today.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
The Snow Country Ski Report is sponsored by Indeed. Used by over 3 million businesses for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire.
A snowy week makes for a fun time on the slopes. 2 to 3 feet of snow at Mountain High this week. Now that's about 35 trails off of West Resort, and East Resort opens up on Friday, and you can shred the park after dark as they stay open under the lights up until 10. Snow Summit and Bear Mountain both picking up 20 inches of snow. Bear Mountain with a half-pipe competition coming up on the weekend. June Mountain's been digging out thanks to 10 feet of new snow this week in the storms. Bear Valley picked up about 7 to 8 feet of snow, and they've got some live music coming up over the weekend. In Arizona, Sunrise Park checks in with 65 runs at full operation, and at Crested Butte in Colorado, picked up a foot of snow in the last couple of days, and the free concert series kicks off on Saturday. More at snowcountry.com. I'm Jan Elliott on the trifecta of Talk, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Marion Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So are we going to get some nice weather, Tobin?
I hope so, but someone told me that it's supposed to rain again this weekend.
So here's what I'm super excited about. With all the rain that we've had, and it's been great, we really need the rain. I'm hoping for a super bloom in the spring.
With all the flowers.
All the flowers. Because one thing that we've never done is gone out to like around Edwards Air Force Base, to that area. When they get a super bloom, it's supposed to be beautiful.
Well, already the whole area is just greened up, right? I mean, when you drive around, you don't see any of the traditional, dried out whatever that we get in California here in Southern California. So the whole area is just looking green and fresh because of all the rain, So and soon my backyard will be a jungle. Because I know
your backyard?
Our backyard.
We need to landscape our yard again.
Yeah.
We need a new patio. We need all of that.
Yes. The challenge with some of that is the doggies.
I know, but I want a nice yard.
I do too, but we've got to train the dogs not to dig. They're diggers.
Yeah, well, they're old now, so they're not as bad. I mean, when we first got those dogs, our backyard looked like the moon. But it's not like that anymore, as badly. And in the summer, that's how they cool off.
It is a little bit like that, because when I went out to feed them in the rain, I didn't see one of the little craters. And stepped in it up to my knee.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, that one's deep.
That was a deep one.
It's a behavior that when it's hot outside, they will dig deep. Because the ground is cooler, right? And they have shade, and they have water, and they have dog houses and all of that. But it gets pretty stinking hot.
And one of the dogs is part coyote, and that's just her nature. She's a digger. She wants to have her burrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we can't crate them indoors. They go insane when we crate them.
Yes.
And that same dog has a bit of a prey drive, so we can't leave her in the house unattended.
Yeah, because she goes after the cats.
Exactly. So,
and
she's a wonderful dog.
And if we had small children.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Yeah,
she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dog.
Very loving.
She's very loving and not aggressive in any way.
Yes.
But she is who she is.
Exactly. So I wanted to talk about the story. We've heard in our little news segments that have popped up during the commercial breaks about the plane crash, right? That was
Yes.
in Norco. And they now
no, not in Norco, in Yorba Linda.
Yorba Linda, I'm sorry.
Norco was last year.
Okay. So, but Yorba Linda, thank you. But they've now identified the 4 people who passed away. And I just wanted to mention their names and talk about them a little bit. So Roy Lee Anderson, 85 years old. Dahlia Marlies Lieber Anderson, 68 years old, along with daughter-in-law Stacy Noreen Lieber, 48, of Corona, and son-in-law Donald Paul Elliott, 58, of Norco. These are the 4 that didn't make it out. And if you remember when the plane hit the house, the house caught fire, and it was quite devastating. The pilot of the plane also was killed, and of course now there's this whole big drama around him and who he actually is, because apparently, he was living some fraudulent stuff. They found on him a Chicago police officer's badge and a retirement ID, both of which were fake. Turns out that now they're also saying that he also had claimed to have been a Marine, but he was not. And so this guy has got some splaining to do, I guess. So he's passed away.
Oh,
but
that's
people,
so sad.
But the people are wanting to find out sort of more about who this guy is. And I'm certain the families, the members who were passed, there's going to be lawsuits. And, was this guy even really a pilot? If he's lying about all this other stuff, who is he really? And I as they dig deeper, we'll find out.
Well, apparently he went through a name change, as an adult. And I don't know that it's in this article, but I read another one that he went through a name change. The pilot did, which is weird. Why would you change your name? And it wasn't going from Billy to Bob. It was like he changed the entire name, including his last name, which is really a suspect thing to do unless it's attached to a marriage or something like that. Right. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe his dad had a bad reputation. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what his family must be feeling. His daughter has been interviewed. She had an interview with the LA Times, and she was like, "Well, he just came out for the Super Bowl, and he's came out to visit, and he was going home to watch the Super Bowl, is what it was, and his home was in Vegas."
It's all quite strange. Now, the props to the city of Yorba Linda. They are actually holding a candlelight vigil to honor the plane crash victims and support their families. It's going to be at Glen Knoll Elementary School. Thursday, so that's today, at 7:30 p.m. this evening, 6361 Glen Knoll Drive at Glen Knoll Elementary School. Yorba Linda Mayor Tara Campbell and local clerics will speak at the event, which is expected to last about 30 minutes. They're asking people to carpool there because the parking is limited, and that there'll be a shuttle to transport people between the church and the school. And so they're asking people to go park down at St. Martin de Porres Catholic Church, which is down on Yorba Linda Boulevard.
So what makes me wonder what would cause, was he trying to lift too fast? What would cause a plane to break apart like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And had he been drinking? Had he been,
Did he have a health issue? Like you mentioned originally, was it a heart attack?
Was it a heart attack? Yeah.
I don't know. That hopefully they can answer some of those questions. If I don't know, if he burned in the fire after as well, if that makes it harder for them to figure out what his, what he died of or what his health issues were. It's definitely a mystery, and a lot of questions are being raised, and this poor family is just devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated.
I can't even imagine. So with that, there was a story that I wanted to do today that we're not going to get to, but I want to tease it a little bit. Universities, this is according to Business Insider, universities should ban PowerPoint. It makes students stupid and professors boring.
Yeah, it's actually it's a good article, but I really believe the guy who wrote it is a guy who got a bad review from his students because he refused to use PowerPoint. And this is just his revenge.
So are you going to be with us tomorrow, Tobin?
I think
you should be with us tomorrow. All right, so we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. Have a great day, everybody.